Welcome everyone, this is Frank DiMora. Today is May 3rd, got a lot of news for you. I'd like to invite you to go to my prophecy site that you see up here for my YouTube channel. And I know that the people that just got my email, they don't have access to this video yet, so that's why you see this post right here that come back in an hour, and I'll link up the video that I'm making now with it, with the news at my site. So let me get right into the news. I want to show you that there's an article out, and you'll see here, let me just go right to it. And once you're at my site, by the way, you'll be able to click and you'll be able to get all these articles. And this particular one says, 1 in 7 thinks end of world is coming. It says nearly 15% of the people worldwide believe the world will end during their lifetime, and about 10% link the Mayan calendar could signify it will happen in 2012, according to a new poll. Now, it says that the end of the Mayan calendar, which spans about 5,125 years, on December 21st, 2012, has sparked interpretations and suggestions that marks the end of the world, and whether they think it will come to an end through the hands of God or natural disaster or political event, whatever the reason, 1 in 7 thinks the end of the world is coming. And so this is the news, and after talking to a lot of people, I would say that their statistics are probably pretty straight on and accurate. And I really believe that it is accurate because most of the people don't read the Bible, and they're going to be falling for all kinds of deceptions that are going to be propagated in the last days. And one of them is that the end of the world is going to happen on the 21st of this year, and it's not going to happen because of specifically because of what Daniel shows us and the timing of the 7-year tribulation. Now, obviously, if the tribulation hasn't even started yet, that means that 2012 couldn't be the date, because the tribulation alone encompasses a time frame of 7 years, so it doesn't happen. But there are a lot of people who are going to be falling for events that could look like it's going to be the end of the world, and we're seeing a lot of these events taking place in the news. For example, huge storms, the problems with the economy, which I'm going to be covering. And a lot of people are seeing these strange events and they're thinking, yeah, there's something to the Mayan calendar. But please, don't get caught up with this Mayan calendar. You need to be caught up in the rapture with the Lord and His Word, what He tells us before the rapture of the church is going to take place. Now, I'm going to go show you some of the things that I have no doubt that the people believe that what they're seeing is signs that, yes, the end is coming, and a lot of people are getting ready for it, for that end. Now, later on today, I'm going to be posting another part of my Revelation teaching, and these next couple parts are going to be very, very significant because there's things that are going on that you're going to want to know about. So please listen if you can, and watch especially parts 11 and 12 that are coming up. So let me get right into the prophecies. Like I said, a lot of people are going to see these signs and they're going to start to think the end of the world is coming. And partially they are correct. The end of the world is coming in the relation to the kind of system this world is under. It's under the Antichrist. In the near future. At the present time, it's under Satan. He owns it, and the Lord is going to take it back from him. And that will be when he starts going through and he takes the seal, which I'll be talking about in the book of Revelation teaching. And then when he opens it up and we start to see all these events take place, but that isn't until the tribulation begins, or when the Lord that'll happen in the the 7-year time frame of the tribulation. But here we go. Some of the signs, Luke 21:25, and there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress with nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Now, I've shown you and many times the number of storms that are coming up all over the different parts in the different nations. And I've shown you in the past what the Lord has shown us in Isaiah 32:19, Hosea 10:11, and we also see in Revelation chapter 16 verse 21 that the Lord uses storms and he uses hail as judgments against unrighteous people. And we know from Mark 13:8 that the Lord is going to make these signs of the last days as birth pangs. They're going to start, they're going to get a lot worse, and man, we see these birth pangs that are coming on us, and it is not going to stop. It's going to get much worse. So indications about judgments by hail, and the Lord told us while in the tribulation, hail will be the size of 100 pounds. We see this in Revelation 16:21. Now there's a video. I'll let you play the video once you go to my site. You'll be able to see that video. But let me tell you, I've been warning about watching the storms. You're going to see the hailstones start to increase in size along with the birth pangs. And this storm that they're talking about that was posted in 428 2012, which was just recently, was the size of baseballs. So they are definitely starting to increase in size and doing a lot of damage. Now in Revelation, moving on, chapter 13, this is where the Lord warns about the Antichrist, and he said, he that causeth all both small and great, rich or poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on the right hand or the foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, say he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. In my book, I show you the steps that this world has been going through to get to this cashless society, and eventually it's going to fall into the hands of the Antichrist and fulfill this scripture. And the Antichrist is going to force everyone to take his mark. Otherwise, you can't buy anything and you cannot sell anything, as it says here. So you'll be nixed out of the world economy. Now, here's another one of the articles that shows us another one of the patterns, or the steps, if you will, showing us this cashless society is coming. And here's the headline: cashless payments are in the future. How to implement this convenient payment methods for your small businesses. Click to the link there. You'll get a lot of information there. It's very intriguing, but it does show that what Jesus showed us in Revelation chapter 13, we're well on the road to seeing this cashless society. And it's not going to take that much longer to actually fully implement this worldwide. They're preparing to do this now. Now, as time goes on, we see nation after nation. They're using identity, different methods of identity for purposes of trying to cut down frauds, for security reasons. And a lot of these identities, or most of them, are centering both on the hand and on the head. The face, iris recognition, handprints, palm prints. And here's another one of those articles. It says, here's the headline: wants to correct or collect biometric data on all its citizens to prevent fraud. This is one of those articles that you should read. I'm not going to read it for you because of time constraints, but you'll have the link right there that you can read this link. And all I'm trying to do is showing you the bottom line, that what Jesus told us we're seeing in this generation now. And the only reason why we're seeing it in this generation is because we have the technology like this to actually fulfill Revelation chapter 13. Why do we have in this generation? Because in Daniel 12:4, God told Daniel that this generation would increase in knowledge. And that's why at this particular time in history, This specific generation has this kind of technology that is leading directly to where the Lord said, Revelation chapter 13, where the Antichrist will control what you can buy or sell. So this is just the stepping stones to get there. Now, when the church is raptured out, and if you're left behind, the Antichrist is going to take your freedoms away unless you bow down to him. And you can see from Revelation 13, chapters 13, that is, from verse 1 through 16, you'll read about the mark there and the setting up of this Antichrist system. Now, what I wrote here is if President Obama is able to strip Americans' freedoms down just about nothing, what do you think the Antichrist, with the power of Satan, is going to be able to do? Of course, the answer is whatever he wants. And so if you think that Americans haven't been losing their freedoms left and right, I think that you're going to be very interested in watching this video called Obama Makes Free Speech a Felony. This is a new video, but it's an eye-opener, and it's just, again, another one of those indications that if America can go the way of losing freedoms and be controlled, and I believe that there's going to be martial law in the distant or the not-too-distant future, then the Antichrist, who's going to be filled or incarnated with Satan, he's going to have the power to do just about anything that he wants to do. Here's another one, prophecy sign in Daniel, chapter 2, verses 41 through 43. And it's a warning that the last world empire will not hold together. This is, I'm not quoting it, I'm just telling you what it is saying in here. And once you read the scriptures, you'll see that the UE, or EU, or the European Union, is actually the western leg of the old Roman Empire. And it does appear that it might not hold together, just as we see in the scriptures in Daniel 41 through 43, because this is essentially what the scripture tells us, that these people, this kingdom, is not going to hold together. They're going to fall apart. And that's, I believe, why you're starting to see that the Euro nations and the European Union, under duress of the deficits and the problems they're having and the uprising over the austerity cuts, this is the road leading to the fulfillment of this prophecy as well. And so here's the link. You'll be able to click that link, and you'll see that the headline for this is the Eurozone crisis. Joblessness hits record high. And of course, the Antichrist, we know that is going to be propelled to the world scene, and he's going to look like he's the savior, look like the Superman kind of person. He's going to have the answers, or so it will seem he will have the answers to the economical problems. And I really believe that there is a possibility that two-case scenario, I said it before, but I'll say it again. If the rapture of the church were to take place very, very shortly, then the world would be catapulted into chaos like the world has never seen before, because it would take a hit on the world economy when you lose millions of people who were in the economy, and it would devastate world governments. And then you would have the scenario where the Antichrist could emerge up and then take hold. They're going to be looking for somebody to take the reins and to get the world out of problems, and he could step on. Or you would have the global economic crisis fall apart, and it would be one more step to try to solidify a new system. And of course, we know where this world system will lead to. Eventually, the world system is going to lead to Revelation chapter 17. And in there, we see that the 10 horns that Jesus talked about, there are kings that are going to solidify their power. They're going to give all their power over to this Antichrist, as you'll see if you read the scripture here. And he's going to rule over not only these 10 kings, these united kingdoms, but he's going to rule as beast, satanic Satan, over the entire world. Now we know, since the European Union is in fact the western side, or the western leg of the old Roman Empire, then when you hear news, here's the headline, that the minister ponders creation of an EU super president, you're talking about solidifying even greater power than what is generated now within the European Union. And since we know that the Antichrist is going to rise up from this revived Roman Empire, when you're looking for new positions of a superposition within this western leg, that is something that you want to focus on and pay attention and watch what's going on. That's great, of great importance. Now here go again, prophecy signs, 2 Timothy. And you'll see in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 5, the characteristics of how people were going to be in the last days. Now, I'm just going to cut to the chase right here. One of the signs are disobedient to parents. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, think about this. When you have disobedient parents, more than likely, not all families, but more than likely, kids will be coming from families who never were taught about anything about Jesus Christ. More than likely, you won't find these kind of kids that they went to church with their families, and more than likely, the families don't even care about church or spiritual matters, and so they haven't been taught by their parents, and as a result, Satan has used this kind of breakdown in the family. And we see this as a product of our kids who have become disobedient to parents, but not only disobedient to parents, disobedient to people in charge in schools and in society in general. And I post many of these signs on my website, and you'll see a ton of them in my book. So download my book today for free. But here, what I wanted to show you is, here again, the headlines, just a touch of what's going on, indicators of how people are changing and scriptures being fulfilled. 12 girls hurl the teenagers off the subway by hair and then steal her cell phone. You can read the story, but we're hearing more and more cases like this. It's like a waterfall of disgust in the news, showing us the characteristics of the people living in the last days are here at hand during the last days. Now, there's another prophecy in, of course, the Old Testament, Psalm 83, that hasn't been fulfilled yet. And what I wanted to show you is, if you look at numbers 5 and 9 on this list right here, you will see that 5 and 9 talk about Lebanon, or the Lebanese. The Lebanese are going to be part of this massive force that is going to charge in at Israel to try to eliminate Israel off the face of this world. They're going to try to destroy Israel as a nation. And so what I've been showing you are some of the signs leading up to this war. It's definitely coming, and Israel is preparing for this war. And you'll see it right here. One of the articles that I wanted to show you, here's the headline for the article: Israel fortifies border fence with Lebanon. Lebanon, as I showed you, is one of the nations that will be attacking Israel in the last days. And so they got their equipment out there, and they're getting ready in case the next war comes. But let me back up and say it's not a case if, it is a case when it's going to happen, because the Lord told us it's going to happen. And since we've seen everything that the Lord prophesied come to pass, there is definitely going to be another war soon. Lebanon will partake in that war. So you could read this article as well. But this is the bottom line. They're just getting ready. It says they're building up the fences and so forth. Now, what's very interesting is right now Israel is getting their troops ready. They're calling up the reserves. And you'll see that Israel is also setting up for war against Egypt and Syria, who again are mentioned in the Psalm 83 war. You'll see Syria right here, and you will see Egypt as number 4. So if you can't see it too well on your computer, it's number 4 and number 10, Egypt in Syria. And so when you read this article, or you watch this video here, there's a link that you can click this link and you're going to see news, and these two links right here are going to give you news showing you this very scene. They're going to show you that Israel is preparing for war, not only with Lebanon, but they are also getting ready for war against Egypt and Syria. Now, if you can't see what the Lord has shown us through Psalm 83, I don't know what it's going to take to show you that the Lord's words are true. Now, moving on, in Matthew 24:6, the Lord told us that you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. But see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So in other words, when you start hearing it, you start seeing it, don't worry, because you still have time left before the end actually comes. And that's just what we're seeing. And so here's some headlines showing you about wars and rumors of war. And here you have India's ready for war with China. It's a pretty interesting article. They're getting ready. They're arming themselves, preparing. And this is, again, fulfillment of what the Lord told us to look for. So if you know what to look for, you know what to expect. Now here's another one. Ezekiel chapter 38 is another war that hasn't been fulfilled yet. In this war, God tells us that the Russians are going to lead an attack. Iran is going to be one of their major allies, along with Turkey, coming down in Israel with Lebanon, or with Libya, and you'll read more about that in my book as well. But we do know that the Israelis, according to the article, it says the best time to bomb Iran is during the U.S. election. So they're talking about war. There's more rumors about the war, and now they're telling you when this actual war may take off, or the strike. Now here's some other news about it, and you'll see the headline right here: Israel's early election and its effect on striking Iran. So they're saying that there's a possibility that this strike may take place very, very soon. It says, it is now all but certain that Israel will hold early parliamentary elections late this year. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to announce the exact date on Sunday, but most are speculating that the election will take place at the beginning of September. Now, when you're talking about possibly attacking Iran during the month of September when these elections are going on, you better start looking at the calendar just in case, because the Lord fulfilled the first 4 spring Jewish festivals in his first coming. And we know there's a very, very, very high probability that he's going to finish the fall 3 festivals that are remaining. And the one that is next on the Lord's list would be the Day of Trumpets, Yom Kippur, or Rosh Hashanah. This is what we believe may be a date for when the rapture of the church could be taken out of the way, since the Lord has already fulfilled the 4. We're speculating now. We're not giving you a date. We're just saying it's something that we're looking for, because it is a possibility that the Lord may choose to fulfill the rapture of the church, or this Rosh Hashanah on during sometime in the future, or who knows, maybe this September 18th. But it's, it's certainly, when they're talking about launching an attack in Iran in September, and we see that the Feast of Trumpets is in September, it gives you something to think about. I'll never set dates for the rapture of the church, because I don't know, but we can keep our eyes open. We've seen what the Lord has done in the past with the different feasts, and since like I said, since he did it before, he may do it again. And here, down here, as you scroll down into my site, you're going to see some other information about this attack. The headline: Moment of Truth is near. Israel Air Force set to attack Iran. More signs of wars, rumors of wars, signs of the Psalm 83 war and the coming Ezekiel war. And why I'm saying Psalm, because I believe that when Israel does attack Iran, there will be a backlash, and they've already had all kinds of news reports saying that if Israel ever did this to Iran, those same nations listed in the Psalms 83 war would attack Israel, And so there's a lot of scenarios that could take place if in fact Israel does attack. And of course the Lord told us about the earthquakes, the many earthquakes, and the great earthquakes. You'll see the different scriptures here. And what I've done is given you a list of all the earthquakes, 5.0 and higher, over the last 7 days. And there's a lot of them. Now, and lastly, there's the headline, "A Staggering Mess. 50 miles of beach in Alaska look like this." And when you click this, you're going to see what the Alaskan coastline looks like from that huge earthquake. And I'm warning people, get ready for more of these huge earthquakes. They are coming. And the reason why I'm saying this is based on Mark 13:8. The birth pangs are among us. Please, please give your life over to the Lord. And if you can, watch my coming videos, part 11 and 12 of the teaching on the book of Revelation with Frank DiMora. And today would be a good day to give your life over to Jesus Christ. And I pray that you do.